GearNetwork.com. This is a Gear Network production.
Look, you want the truth? Okay, then listen in. My first link.
This is the Listen In Podcast with your hosts, John Cimino and Brandon Gorell, here on the Gear Radio Network.
Hello again, everybody. The bye week is over here. The Listen In Podcast. And I'm not going to lie, folks, this might be a struggle for me. Goddamn allergies are killing me. Hello, everyone. My name is John Cimino at I am JC Money. That's a new Twitter handle now.
Jeez.
Why
did you get rid of that?
Money. Say what?
Why'd you get rid of that?
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Joined by the man who still has his same Twitter handle, at Brandon S. Gorell. Mr. Brandon Gorell, say hello.
Hey. Yeah, retweeting is not too controversial. It's not going to get me banned from Twitter.
Yeah, apparently not. But as always, you can support this and all podcasts when you shop through one of our affiliate partners or donate via PayPal on GearNetwork.com, which, by the way, a brand new version of GearNetwork.com is coming very, very, very soon. Very, very excited about it. Going to offer a lot more interactivity. I can talk about that at another time as well later on in the podcast if I'm up for it. But it's going to be really cool. A lot of cool features on there. Looking forward to that. But of course, if you don't want to do any of that, please just do us a solid and listen to the podcast from start to finish, including the commercials that precede the podcast and follow the podcast. Not skipping through them, not stopping, just let them play out. Please, 60 extra seconds of your time. If you do that, it goes a long way to helping us out. On today's show, apparently I'm going to talk about my Twitter handle issue and what happened there. The first NFL head coaching firing happened a couple of weeks ago now at this point. We're down to 2 undefeated teams. We're down to 2 winless teams. And Brandon, breaking just before we even started the podcast, we might as well talk about it. Jalen RAMSey, the cornerback, formerly now of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts, according to a report by ESPN's Adam Schefter, whom cannot do a Lambo leap to save his ass.
I think it was brutal.
And it was confirmed by CBS Sports NFL insider Jason LaCanfora that it was talked that RAMSey was going to go to great lengths to get out of Jacksonville. They spent a first-round pick on him back in 2016, but he has quickly become one of the, if not the, top corner in the National Football League right now. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, a 2017 All-Pro, but and has appeared in 3 games this season for the Jaguars, who are 2-4 through 6 games. Brandon, he goes to LA, a defense that's already got Clay Matthews and
not right now. I don't.
Well, they don't. But
broken jaw,
Aaron Donald, and
Aqib
Talib. So he's going to help an already good defense.
Wade Phillips is the defensive coordinator, so he's going to work.
Yes,
it's a good move.
So what does this do to the NFC West? How does this change that dynamic? You've got the undefeated 49ers in there. You've got Russell Wilson playing pretty damn good ball right now. The Arizona Cardinals are still the Arizona Cardinals, so they're not really worried about them. But as for the other 3 teams, I mean, what exactly does this do? A move like this do to the LA Rams?
Well, I mean, it solidifies their back end, which they've had some struggles with. It'll be helpful when they have to play Seattle and San Francisco again. But honestly, I don't think it moves the needle enough, given their struggles on offense lately. Their offense has been the biggest issue right now. They can't get anything going. I mean, that 49ers game, I was shocked when I looked at I tuned in like mid-third quarter. I was looking at it, and they were showing Jared Goff's stats, and I'm like, why does he have 7 attempts in the third quarter? Like, how is this even happening? I mean, this was a pass-happy offense. They didn't have Todd Gurley, and they had Todd Gurley like a couple weeks ago, and Jared Goff's throwing 58 passes and almost set an NFL record for attempts in a game. And then we come to play San Francisco, and he just decides he's going to throw 7. I don't really understand that at all.
I was reading something about how the general consensus there in LA is that the offense, or at least Sean McVay's offense, runs through Todd Gurley, quite literally, and that what you just talked about there.
But 58 attempts doesn't say it runs through Todd Gurley.
No, it doesn't. But it also tells me that they don't that Gurley's presence on the field will allow Jared Goff more opportunities to do that because of the.
I don't buy that for a second.
You don't think so?
No.
Well,
he wasn't really healthy last season. I just think that teams are figuring them out right now, and they haven't adapted yet. I'm going to be honest. I mean, they've got really talented wide receivers. They've got a pretty good line. And yet, for some reason, Jared Goff cannot hit anybody. And they got Cooper Kupp back, too, which was a big weapon that they were missing last year when they went to the Super Bowl. But I think that the Patriots, because it's a copycat league, figured out a way to disrupt the timing offense of the LA Rams. And teams have studied that film. And I think that that was the blueprint. And they have yet to make the adjustment that they need to make. To get it. And this kind of reminds me that, like, there's several situations that I can point to that, like, where, a coach comes along and he has some kind of like new revolutionary way of doing things and it becomes really good. And then other teams start to copy it and then start to do it themselves or some variation of it. But then a defense or, the league figures it out. And for some reason, some of these coaches are like one trick ponies. Like they know their one system and they say, well, let's stick to our game. I used to hear it all the time in hockey with Dan Bylsma when he took over for the Penguins in mid-season when Michel Therrien was fired and took them to win a Stanley Cup. I mean, they ran through everybody and they had this system that was just speed and long passes and all this stuff. And he had this system. But the rest of the league figured out the system, and they never changed it. Bylsma kept using it. He went and brought it to the Olympics. They figured it out in the Olympics, and he didn't make any adapts. And the USA got their ass kicked. And then, he goes to the Buffalo Sabres, tries to use the same system with the Buffalo Sabres with different personnel and fails miserably. Mike McCarthy did it with the Packers. Like, he kept using the same Mike McCarthy offense. Over and over again.
Going even as far back as Marty Schottenheimer. Marty
Schottenheimer. Marty Ball used to be the same thing. Mike Shanahan. That was another guy that they have this good idea and they think, well, this is the revolution. This is it's worked before and I'm going to keep going with it until it works again. And then they get fired and people are like, well, how did you figure it out? That's why the New England Patriots are successful. They change every time that somebody catches up to them. When they lose, they come out and figure a new wrinkle out. Like they've almost come full circle where they've come into where they have a serviceable offense with a really good defense. Like this is the first really good defense that Belichick's had since the early Super Bowl days.
Yes.
When that was like the primary focus of those
was
teams.
More the game manager.
Right. And now Brady's up there in age and he's being asked to kind of be the game manager again. And the defense is taking care of games. I mean, they have not been very sharp on offense, sans a couple of games, but really they have not been very sharp on offense, but their defense has been like razor sharp.
Absolutely.
So that's why they win, and that's why other teams lose. And I think the Rams are going through that right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if McVay can adapt, if he can look at things and go, okay, this is what we're having struggles with. This is what people are picking up on. We need to change this. We need to put in this new wrinkle. We need to try this out. Because if he doesn't, he's going to end up being in the long list of coaches who just can't do it. I mean, Andy Reid's another good example. The guy's a genius in the off season, in the regular season. The guy can, coach it up. He's using very similar style offense that he used back in Philadelphia. But when it comes down to crunch time, he gets over Andy'd, and then he gets out of the playoffs because he overdoes it. Right. And he doesn't know how to adapt on the fly. It's the same way, and I think that's what the Rams' problem is. I think Ramsey's going to help. And the games are going to be closer. And if it's going to lead to possibly getting some offense off of that defense, if they can produce some more turnovers or whatever, get shorter fields, then maybe they don't rely on, so much. But right now they're on the offensive side of the ball. They've had some pretty tough weeks. I don't know. I think they're on the downslide. It's that goddamn outside of New England, of course. Every year, like the runner-up in the Super Bowl just gets trounced.
Right.
I mean, it's Super Bowl hangover usually is like for everybody like involved, unless you're the Patriots.
Right.
But like, the Eagles had an off season.
The Super Bowl hangover for the Patriots is one extra loss in the regular season.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They didn't score 60 points in one of their games, so it's definitely an off season for them.
But you know what?
It's a good trade. I mean, it's a good trade for both teams because he's kind of a headache in Jacksonville. It's kind of up in the air. He wanted out. He got out. They got some picks for it. They got 3 draft picks to come their way. And then, the Rams could use a shot in the arm.
I think that not only does it give them a shot in the arm, but for Jacksonville too, I think it's a great trade-off because they're building something nice there. I don't know that Doug Marrone is the answer as far as the coach is.
No, he's not. He absolutely is not.
But the culture there seems to be shifting. I think a lot of that happens to be thanks to future Hall of Famer Gardner Minshew. But
I think it's ownership, obviously.
Oh yeah. The Khan family is very much into their brands, and they've it's with anything that the Khan family has put their name to. The Jacksonville Jaguars is one of them. They got that soccer team out in London. I can't remember which one, but they recently
one of those footy teams
crossing over into my world in professional wrestling, All Elite Wrestling. You hear for the wrestling fans that are listening to this podcast, they hear the names of Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks associated with that, but the financial backers are the Khan family. Tony Khan, Shad's son, is the guy. He's a huge wrestling fan, and he's dipping his billions into that company to make it go, to make it stand out. So the Khans are a pretty passionate family with reference to whatever they
with
have.
Also a sweet mustache. Like he was the start of the mustache revolution there.
Oh yeah,
that's probably why he drafted Minshew.
Oh yes, absolutely. So, but you know what? A good segue here as far as talking about both the Patriots and the 49ers is because they are both the last 2 remaining unbeaten teams, and they face similar situations this week. Although I think the situations is just because of the records, not necessarily because of the teams they're fielding that are being fielded against them. But the 6-0 Patriots are visiting the now 1-4 New York Football Jets. Brandon, who did the Jets beat last Sunday?
Them boys.
That's right, them boys. I said this before. If the Jets only won 1 game all season and it was against the Dallas Cowboys, I would consider the season a success. It is a successful season right now. And the 5-0 49ers, that's on Monday Night Football, by the way. The 5-0 49ers go to FedEx Field to take on the now 1-5 Washington Redskins. A back note on that. Washington fired Jay Gruden after an 0-5 start. Bill Callahan has now taken over as interim head coach. He's now 1-0 as the interim head coach for the Washington Redskins, but he's not a shoo-in for the head coaching position to be filled at the end of the season. He is the 9th head coach since Stan Snyder bought the team in 1999, and Washington apparently, take this for whatever you will, is really eyeing Mike Tomlin. They're going to try. They really want Mike Tomlin, but if they can't get their hands on Mike Tomlin, which I don't think they can, they're also eyeing really hard former Jets head coach Todd Bowles. So that's another topic for another day. But of the 2 remaining unbeatens, based on this, and we're going hypothetical here, but based on the 2 unbeatens and whom they are playing right now, if the football god says one of them are losing this week, which one of those teams loses?
This week?
If the football gods were to say one of these unbeaten teams are going to lose this week, which one is the one that's losing?
I mean, you really can't look at either of them and go, yeah, maybe they have a shot. Maybe the closest shot that there is the Jets beating the Patriots. I can't see the Redskins beating the 49ers. But I also really can't see the Jets beating New England.
I don't see either of them losing
I think
this
the
week.
beat goes on.
I don't see any of them losing this week, but to answer that hypothetical there, the Jets beating the Patriots. Anyways,
Yeah.
But we know that the league has run through New England for the last 20 years. But I ask you, Brandon, are the 49ers the real deal, or are they a team of circumstance that got here? Like, we know New England's the real deal. So their 6-0 doesn't really surprise anybody. But the Niners being undefeated, especially at this point, what is... How does this 49ers team differ from the Patriots in terms of unbeaten? Because I feel like everybody expects New England to be here. Nobody, I think, expected the 49ers to be here.
No, but if you look at the schedule that they've played, I mean, their defense is playing really well, but they played against some really bad teams. Like, they opened with Tampa. That was I think, 5 interception game that... No, 3 interception, 2 fumble game that Jameis Winston had in the first week.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got the winless Bengals, who still haven't won a game this season. Then they got the Steelers, who were led by Mason Rudolph again. And I think, wasn't that Rudolph's concussion game? I don't even know if he finished the game. No, it wasn't. He played the whole game. And they had an opportunity to win that game. They that game was like one of the most embarrassing games I watched this season. It was actually just like, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. And like, they just kept turning the ball back and forth to each other till someone finally like settled down and won the game, which was the 49ers with like 1:15 left.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got the Browns. Browns played the most atrocious game they could possibly play. I mean,
mm-hmm. Yes, that was a terrible game. 2
interceptions, 2 fumbles from Mayfield. And then, like I said, the Rams, like, Jared Goff finished with 24 attempts and got 78 yards passing. They didn't have Todd Gurley. And the final score was 20-7. Could it have been a different game?
Oh, the Cardinals are on the board.
Probably. Probably could have been a different game. But then you look at their schedule coming up. They got the Redskins. Their first challenge this season is going to be at home against the Panthers on the 27th.
I don't see them beating the Panthers. To be quite honest with you,
maybe.
I don't see them beating the Panthers. I see that one as a punch in the mouth kind of game, and I think the Panthers will pull that one off.
Well,
but if
here's the problem: like, they're going to have their passing game because their run defense is pretty good in San Francisco. So, it's a home game too. It's not in Carolina. So but I'm just saying that's their first like actual test.
Right.
Then they got the Cardinals on the road. But then they're home for the Seahawks. That's another challenge. But then they're home again for the Cardinals, and then they're home for the Packers. The Packers will be a tough game for them too.
But then, I mean, if you go even
the Ravens, Saints,
will be a tough game. The
Falcons, right? The rest of their schedule is tough. If the Rams rebound, they've got 3 games left on the schedule that are winnable games. 4 games because the Falcons suck too.
Yes.
4 winnable games left on the schedule. Even if they were to win all those 4 winnables and lose the rest, they'd still be 9-7. I don't think they're going to lose all 7 of those games.
No, I don't think they'll lose all those games.
If they win their winnables, they've already got 9 wins. They're probably going to be a playoff team.
Now, when I look at New England here, as I look through their schedule, I see Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, Bills.
Yep.
As possible challenges for them.
Yeah, Bills are already going to be a challenge. Bills were already a challenge to them.
Yes.
I think that they're going to make some adjustments, and I think they're going to be better. And that's going to be another low-scoring affair.
I honestly feel the Texans is going to be...
Texans might be the team that beats them.
Like I said, with the Carolina Panthers being the punch-them-in-the-mouth kind of team for the 49ers, I think the Texans are going to be...
It ain't going to be the Chiefs. I can tell you that.
No, probably not.
Mahomes is really banged up.
Not the way that they've been playing the past. And Mahomes is still a future Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong, but he's
got to throw that in every time.
I do have to. It's my gimmick there. The Ravens could be a shock team as well for them too.
Yeah,
with,
they always play them tough,
but
then they always find a way to blow it. But that was with Joe Flacco, so we'll see how Lamar Jackson does.
Right. So it'll be interesting.
I have a feeling that the Patriots are going to keep him in the pocket, though.
It's going to be an interesting It's going to be an interesting second half of the season for both of the remaining undefeateds, I think. But I do think San Francisco, if anything, they definitely lose first. So that's what I got there. And then 2 winless teams remaining, Brandon, Cincinnati and Miami.
Who's the first one to win? Cincinnati.
In the words of a great philosopher by the name of Uncle Latin, who don't want it?
The Dolphins don't want it. They're going to be the team left standing at the bottom of the hill. Standing is fun. No, I don't know if they'll run the table and go 0-16, but they're a very good candidate for 1-15.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't know, man. They're really a bad team. To be honest, like it could be the Browns, could be the New York Giants,
probably the Jets,
could be the Bengals.
Oh my luck, the Jets. Let's see.
Yeah, that Bengals one could be the one that totally tanks it.
Let's see here. They have the Bills this week. That's a loss.
They got the Steelers too.
Steelers are going to lose. The Jets, depends which Jets. If it's the Jets, if it's the Jets that came out last,
Colts. That's an L.
Colts is an L. Bills is an L. Browns. I don't know. I think the Browns got
are
them.
Kind of a mess right now.
Eagles got them. Jets, again, depending which Jet squad. The Giants, Lord and Savior Daniel Jones. Yeah, I could see them. I could see them going.
All right,
all the way up to Cincinnati without a win.
He's 85 for 140 with 920 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He is not.
Are you talking?
He's not the Lord and Savior.
Are you talking about Lord and Savior?
Yeah, I'm talking about Daniel Jones.
He is the Lord and Savior.
Yeah, okay. He had he had one win. And that win came because a field goal kicker couldn't kick a goddamn chip shot. And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Daniel Jones. You are the real deal." He looks like Eli Manning without a chromosome. Man.
He's Eli Manning. I swear he's got to be Eli's son.
He's Eli.
Oh God! Stop. Jesus Christ.
I don't care.
I know you don't.
Edit that out. I don't care.
No, fuck it.
Whatever you're going to do.
But, all right, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go to commercial break on that one. And when we come back, we will talk our listen and pick 'em this week. I finally found out who that Bills fan is, by the way.
Yeah?
Fucking old Gil. Remember Gil from the Amherst game I introduced you to?
Oh, yeah.
Vincent, the referee? Him.
Nope. Okay.
So he still sucks
this past week.
I don't know. Whatever. We'll be right back after this. Stick around.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's Ryan Wolf.
Hey, Mr. Perez.
From the Better Live Than Dead podcast. You can catch the Better Live Than Dead podcast on the Gear Radio Network, BetterLiveThanDead.com, and wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right.
With that being said, hey, we talk about sports, we talk about music, we talk about entertainment.
I make things really awkward sometimes.
That sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
With that being said, though, as you always know, we are Better Live Than Dead.
You're not.
We'll catch you sometime very soon.
Fake to Bell, go deep. Anderson's out there. This is going to go the distance. 92 yards. Darnold to Anderson. Incredible.
You feel like yourself?
Yeah, I definitely felt like myself out there. Especially after the first play to DT, that pass I made to DT, I knew we were going to have a good game offensively.
How about the pass to Rob? That was very exciting play.
It was awesome. You know, the way the safety bit down on the run, and I just knew I had to put it out there. And, you know, Robbie's one of the best, if not the best, at tracking the ball in the air in the NFL. And I knew that I just had to put it out there in his vicinity, and he would go out and catch it.
I'll help you out. I'm good with the shootings.
Oh, man, I could listen to that all day, Brandon. All day. Darnold to Anderson. 90 yards. Touchdown. Jets beat the Cowboys. Ha-ha. Oh, man. This is my Stephen A. Smith impression there. Anyways, welcome back, everybody, to the Listen In podcast here. And, hey, Dollar Shave Club, ladies and gentlemen, makes getting a great shave easy and affordable. Customers can choose from different blade types, which are delivered right to their home, as well as other accessories such as pre- and post-shave balms, shampoos, face cleaners, and gel. Ooh, Hey, new members, get a Dollar Shave Club starter kit for just $5. There's no better way to get the full club experience at a great price. Just visit GearNetwork.com and under the Support the Shows banner, click the Dollar Shave Club link. That's it, right under there. Support the Shows banner, Dollar Shave Club link, and get your starter set for just one Abe Lincoln or 500 Lincoln cents if you have them. But $5, my babies. GearNetwork.com. Support the show.
I had to walk away from the mic for a second there.
Why? Why is that?
Here, ooh.
That's right. That's right. You know what? I gotta bring it back after your joke you made the other day. Right there. Come on, bring it back. But anyways, Dollar Shave.
I meant he looked depressed.
Yeah, well, all right. That's cool. But anyways, listen and pick them, Brandon.
Yeah.
I had it up here and it disappeared on me, but I believe we tied again last week.
We did. 8 apiece.
We tied the week before.
And we did, and we're tied for the season.
And we're tied for the season, so nobody's a champion every week. Let's see, who gets ridiculed?
I still am. It shows me number one.
It shows you number one. Well, it shows me number one, too.
I'm above because I have tiebreakers.
No, not for long.
Probably for the Monday night scores being closer.
But Bills fan and Dolphins fan, a.k.a. Brett Vincent and Zach Dean. Zach Dean, I'm going to lay off of Zach Dean. He after a post that he put last night, a very personal post with him going through a loss. So I'm not going to ridicule him. But Brett Vincent, I'm going to ridicule your ass.
That wasn't Zach Dean.
That is Zach Dean.
No, that was Zachary Lewis.
That's Zach Lewis?
Yeah, man.
Oh, was it
Zach Dean? Lost his yeah. That wasn't Zach Dean. That was Zachary Lewis.
Well, all right. Well, I'm still going to ridicule Brett Vincent. Brett, you chode. You didn't pick at all last week. At all. You didn't pick at all. And you lost. Pick your goddamn players. Pick your goddamn games this week. Still won't be the champion every week. At this rate, you'll never be the champion every week. You're not going to be the champion every season. That's going to be me. But anyways, Brandon, week 7. Bring it up here again. All right, we're going to start. As you know, the rules are the way this works. I say the games. You tell me who you picked, and if I pick the same, we move on. It appears more often than not we're picking the same. So I'm hoping that as I pick, there's 2 games on the slate this week that I said I believe in my heart of hearts that Brandon is going to pick this team. So fuck it, I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to wait and see once we get there if those teams are if that was an accurate statement and if we'll actually not have a tie this week. So Chiefs Broncos.
I got the Broncos.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't need one of those 2 games. You've got the Broncos. I'm going to assume because of the injuries.
No.
All that, or what?
I have 2 factors.
Okay.
Factor number 1.
Flacco, is it?
No, factor number 1 is the fact that the Broncos defense is really tough, especially at home. And they've all of a sudden they got over that hump. They weren't able to get a sack for a while, and then they got 7 last week. They are starting to play really well. They're starting to really get after the quarterback. They cover well. And I think what's going to be the difference here is the run game going with Patrick Lindsay on the ground. The Chiefs defense cannot stop a nosebleed in the run game. I mean, they got ran over by Hyde. I mean, Hyde is really not somebody that should be running over them like that. Marlon Mack, sure. You're facing elite running backs. Okay, Leonard Fournette, whatever. But to have Carlos Hyde, a guy that they cut to make room for Shady McCoy to run over them. I mean, they have not been able to stop anybody on the run. So I think that Denver is going to control the ball with running, and I think they're going to just pin their ears back and be after a hobbling Mahomes all week, or all day, I should say. So that's why I went with Denver.
All right. I took the Chiefs because of future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes. Of course, regardless whether he's hobbled or not, he's still better than most.
I watched these last 2 weeks.
Well, Tyreek Hill is also back in the swing of things, and
he was in there last week.
He was in there last week, but it was only his first game back. He's just getting his reps, he's getting warmed up. I think that the Chiefs do have enough. to hang with the Broncos. Might not necessarily be a blowout, but I think it'll be close enough. And I think it'll be close enough, but I got the Chiefs edging that one. So we disagree.
Von Miller is going to end his season. I think he's going to come around. He's going to get that ankle. That ankle is going to go snap.
Rams, Falcons.
Oh, I got the Rams.
Rams, okay. And now that one I picked obviously before the Jalen RAMSey thing, but the one thing that I thought about briefly was them going into the dome and playing against the Falcons there, which Matt Ryan, he still has, believe it or not, despite the record, he leads the league in touchdown passes.
Yeah, but they can't stop anybody, and he's getting a lot of touchdowns in garbage time too. He's getting Blake Bortles touchdowns. That's
okay. That's fair. That's very fair.
They were down big against Arizona last week, and they came back.
That's true.
And still lost.
Right. I do have the Rams as well. Bills, Dolphins. I think we both have the
Bills.
Jaguars, Bengals.
Jaguars.
Vikings, Lions.
Vikings.
I chose the Lions. That was the one game that I figured you would pick the Vikings. I chose the Lions.
I mean, I hope it's the Lions, but I think the Vikings are going to win.
I know
that'll get them off our tail.
I know Kirk Cousins turned it up a bit or whatever
against two bad teams.
Right.
Let's not get it twisted. I mean, the Eagles secondary is Swiss cheese.
But that's the thing, is that the Lions, despite their record, are really not a bad team.
No, they're not.
So I think that they're good enough to remind.
They're going to have to score in the red zone.
That's big. But if you ask Lions fans, the refs are going to help them.
No, that's bullshit. They need to score in the red zone. That's what cost them against the Chiefs, and that's what cost them against the Packers. And it cost them against the Arizona. Like, Arizona should not have been in that game, but the Lions couldn't put them away. They kept getting field goals.
Right.
So that's how they got that tie. So they need to learn how to finish in the red zone. If they can learn to finish in the red zone, and I don't know if the Vikings are the team they're going to be able to experiment that with.
Maybe, probably not,
but I am interested to see how Kirk Cousins does with the tight man-to-man coverage and some pressure coming at him, and having all those guys in coverage rather than soft zone and Swiss cheese secondaries that he's faced with the Giants and the Eagles. So I think it'll be a close game, but I think ultimately the Vikings with their run game is going to be able to get them over the hump. And the Lions' inability to score in the red zone.
That's fair. Packers, Raiders, I'm assuming Packers.
The Packers, of course.
Texans, Colts?
Texans.
I was back and forth on this one. But
I was too, but I think the Texans they're over that hump. I think that was a big booster for them to beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
How good is Deshaun freaking Watson, man?
He's a really good quarterback. Do you remember when he was drafted, how many people were shit-talking him, how he's a turnover machine, how he ain't going to be able to cut it in this league, especially running around? Nope. Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly. He's got them all eating their words.
He's got a really good receiving core, too.
All right. The Giants and the Cardinals.
I got the Giants just because they're at home.
Too. Lord and Savior. He's going to do it.
He'll still probably throw 2 picks.
Niners, Redskins.
49ers.
Niners. Chargers, Titans.
I got the Chargers because the Titans are starting Tannehill this week.
Yep, that's why. That is precisely why I picked them.
He's going right back on the bench soon. I've got the Saints, but I was torn on this one.
See, I thought you would have picked the Bears.
Well, I picked the Saints because they have been winning and their defense is really good, and I just don't think that Chase Daniels or Mitch Trubisky, if he makes some miracle comeback this week, can do much with that defense. My worry about the Saints, though, is that it's going to be a lot on Bridgewater, considering that Kamara's being listed, as limited right now with kind of a high ankle sprain type injury.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not very good. So I was torn on those two, but you know what? Fuck the Bears.
That's fair.
I like them in last place right now.
This has the potential for game of the week. Ravens, Seahawks.
I got the Ravens.
All right, I have the Seahawks.
I just think that the Seahawks have been on the cusp of being beat every week. And they haven't played the most elite talent yet. They should have lost to the Rams. Guy missed a pretty chip shot field goal. Jared Goff got him in the position. Kick a game-winning field goal. Their line's almost always money. He totally shanks it. So, there's that. They escaped last week against Cleveland. Cleveland shot themselves in the foot multiple times to give them that game. So I didn't think they were that impressive last week. I watched a lot of that game, actually, because Packers being Monday night and Bills on a bye week. So I really was kind of focused on that game mostly. They eked out the Bengals. They eked out the Steelers. I'm just not. Everyone's hyped on the Seahawks right now, and I'm not seeing it. Like, they're playing the bad teams that other teams are playing, but they're not blowing them out.
I think they're hyped on him because Russell Wilson's likable. He's so likable.
Yeah, he is, and I get that, but at the same time, Russ is having a good season, but at the same time, is it really hard to beat the Bengals, the Mason Rudolph Steelers, the self-destructing Browns? I don't know, man. I don't think that the Seahawks are as elite. I mean, I was looking at ESPN because, the power rankings are fucking useless anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But they had them ranked ahead of Green Bay. Green Bay has beaten all winning teams except for one. That's Denver. Every other team is a winning record that Green Bay's beaten, and they've beaten tough teams, teams with good defenses. The Seahawks have a 21-20 win over the Bengals, a 28-26 win over the Steelers, a 33-27 loss to the Saints. The Bridgewater Saints, by the way, at home.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Cardinals 27-2.
When you say the Bridgewater Saints, it sounds like you're saying
I'm not talking about
bad thing. Bridgewater's
he threw for 177 yards.
Yeah, he threw for 177
yards.
But he's
not a game manager.
No.
He's a game manager. It's not Drew Brees. That's not Drew Brees. That offense is not as dynamic with Teddy Bridgewater, and you know it.
No,
he scored 12 points against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right there, but Bridge, he's not a terrible quarterback.
He's a serviceable quarterback. I'm not saying he's terrible, but he's serviceable. To say that that the New Orleans Saints haven't missed a beat without Drew Brees is nonsense. That's complete nonsense.
I don't think anybody's saying that. I'm saying the beat is going on. The beat is moving.
But yes,
on.
It's the Teddy Bridgewater. It's the Teddy Bridgewater Saints. I don't think that the Teddy Bridgewater Saints are as good as the Drew Brees Saints. They're not even close. Their defense is playing really well, but you're going to tell me that a guy who threw for 177 yards and on 18 completions, it took him to get 177 yards with a wide receiver as dynamic as Michael Thomas is, and Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. You're going to tell me that guy, I'm supposed to be well, it's just the Saints. No, it's the Teddy Bridgewater Saints. I wanted to put that disclosure on there because I don't think that the Saints are that good with Teddy Bridgewater. I think that they're an elite team with Drew Brees. I think that they're a good team with Teddy Bridgewater. There's a difference. Okay. The Patriots can be a good team with somebody else if Tom Brady went down, but they're not going to be an elite team. They're an elite team with Tom Brady.
Okay.
That's the difference.
All right.
So I'm going to move on from that game. I saw them beat the Cardinals. Big freaking deal. Like I mentioned with the Rams, and the Rams, they missed a field goal to win by a point at home. The Rams should have had that game. Field goal kickers just are blowing it this year. I'm glad Crosby didn't. I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
And then the Browns, they beat by 4 points yesterday, even though the Browns did everything they could to give it. 4 turnovers. They were a +4 on the turnover ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they won by 4 points. Russell Wilson's having a great season, and Russell Wilson is driving that team, and Chris Carson is also, running well in the backfield. But I still have not seen this team play a team and beat a team that is actually a good team. Every one of these teams either has a losing record or is very flawed right now.
All right, that's fair.
The Rams are flawed.
They are flawed.
And they should have beat them.
All right. Well, they are facing some challenges. The Seahawks do have some challenges coming up. Obviously, the Ravens being one of them, but the Falcons and Bucks.
Not the Bucks. But they got 2 games against the 49ers. They got the Vikings.
They have the
and
Vikings.
They got the Panthers.
Panthers. Yep.
So I want to see how I want to see how good the Seahawks are when they have to play those games. The Ravens are going to be a tougher challenge, but again, I don't think that they're astronomical challenge. I want to see how they handle Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson's thrown for a little less than 200 yards less than Russell Wilson and 3 less touchdowns, but he's also rushed for more touchdowns than Russell Wilson has. So
that's true.
Right. Russell Wilson's playing great, and everyone is going to talk about how great Russell Wilson is, but at the same time, Dak Prescott looked amazing the first 3 weeks of the season. And look who he played. And then look what happened when he played teams that have defenses and have offenses that can respond.
Right.
That's the problem. So it kind of pisses me off with Seattle. I'm a firm believer. It's you have to win the games that are on your schedule. But when you're talking in comparison, saying, this team's better than that team, when they have equal records, then you look at the teams that they beat. And there's no way you can tell me that Seattle has had a more impressive resume than Green Bay. That kind of annoys me.
Okay. All right.
That really annoys me.
I'll give you that. Okay. Moving on. Doug Peterson, Brandon, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, said.
We didn't finish.
We didn't finish what?
The pick'ems.
I'm working. Would you not interrupt me? I'm going somewhere with this. Doug Peterson of the Philadelphia Eagles, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, said that he guarantees a win on Sunday night when the Eagles play the Cowboys. Brandon, Eagles, Cowboys, Sunday night. Who you got?
I got the Eagles, but I don't remember him saying the guaranteed. He didn't say the word guaranteed.
He didn't actually. He
says we're going to win.
He didn't say
we'll be in first place in the division.
He didn't say that, but I don't know. I think it might have been the context and how it was wrote and whatever. Thank you, Captain Buzzkill. I have the Eagles as well. And finally, we already discussed this. The Monday night game, Patriots and the Jets. We both went with the Jets. Okay.
No, we didn't.
Moving on. Yes, I know. We went with the Patriots. So we are 2 games, I believe. We disagreed on 2 games, which is good. But also could be bad because we could also still tie.
Was it 2? I thought we'd have 3.
Did we have 3? I don't remember. I'll have to listen to it on playback.
I know the Broncos Chief one was
there was the Broncos Chiefs. There was the Vikings game, and that was it. I think. Pretty sure that was it.
Yeah, I think it is.
You didn't pick the Ravens, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you picked the Ravens?
Yeah.
All right, so I picked the Seahawks. So yeah. All right. So then you're right. 3. All right, but that's all I got as far as the sports talk is concerned, my man. Now you're Captain Concert Goer over here. Where are you going? Where are you going tomorrow?
I'm going to Toronto tomorrow to see the band Big Thief. They're a little indie band. I just really like them a lot. It was kind of a makeup show. So back last, I think it was April last year. I was supposed to go see this band with Jake. Remember old Jake DeLucia?
Oh yeah.
I was supposed to go see a band with him up in Buffalo, and it was back when I started doing those new supplements that I was doing, and I took the burner in the morning, but then I took a pre at lunchtime, and then I got like really bad vertigo, and I was just a mess. So I ended up missing that show. And so I felt really bad because I was his ride because he was just new coming back to Rochester. So he wasn't, out of the Brooklyn mode where you just take public transportation everywhere. So he had no real car. Mm-hmm. So I was supposed to drive him to Buffalo. He was going to supply a ticket for me, yada, yada, yada. So I bought this ticket because he really likes the band too. And I was like, cool, we'll go and, I'll pick up the tickets for it and drive since I kind of dropped the ball on this one. Mm-hmm. So I totally forgot about it. And he texted me the other day. He goes, so what's the plan Wednesday? I was like, oh, yeah, Wednesday. That's already here.
Oh, yeah, fam. I had it all together all along the whole time.
Let me make sure that I got someone to get the kid off the bus. And then I'll, we'll leave at 3 o'clock. It's only 3.5 hours. We're going to go there, see the show, and then head back.
All right.
So my concert going is going to slow down this year.
Yes. You said that about 3 concerts ago.
3 concerts ago. Get out of here.
Well, I mean,
I haven't been to a show since the Gorge.
Which was when?
Labor Day weekend.
So yeah, it was
been over a month.
Over a month.
Yeah.
You know what my last concert was, Brandon?
I
don't remember.
And then I'm skipping November. November was supposed to be Chance the Rapper, but he delayed his tour.
Man.
So now it's February.
Oh, that's right. He did delay his tour. Okay.
Yeah, so it's rescheduled for February. So I still have tickets. Taking the kids for that one.
I was going to say you have to go to that one.
Yeah, I have front row seats on the left side of the stage for me and the kids. I didn't do floor because that's hard for kids.
All right.
So yeah, we have that. It's rescheduled for February at the Sabres Arena. And then I have one in December. Manchester Orchestra's 10-year anniversary of their album, Everything to Nothing. They're playing the whole album in full, start to finish.
You did tell me about that one. You told me.
Yeah, so that one I'm going to with Robert. But after that, I really don't see anything on the schedule, and my plan is only to hit a couple of Dave Matthews shows this year.
All right.
I'm going to slow it down, try to pay off some bills, and
there you go.
You know,
that works. I'll try to not get banned off of Twitter again.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a New Year's resolution?
I don't know.
Doing it 2 months early?
Let's see here. We've had approximately, and I am bringing up the number right now. Bear with me.
Oh, it's 7-4 now.
Is it 7-4? They are marching back?
They are.
All right. So, Brandon, Listen In has had 103 episodes, and 100. And this will be the 104th edition.
Mm-hmm.
And 103 out of those 104 episodes, I always started pretty much the same as, hello everyone, my name is John Cimino at the JC Money on the Twitter. At the JC Money was my Twitter handle for 11 years at this point. Twitter is Twitter. It's shtick for me. It was a way for me to promote the brand, whether it was my pro wrestling brand when I was wrestling or the podcasts or anything like that. It was just my source for comedy. You know what I mean? And battling trolls, quite frankly, whether they are of the political nature or of
you become the thing you hate.
Right. Yes. Or the professional wrestling trolls, which there are just as many of those as there are the political trolls in the world.
Or one of my favorite trolls that you ever battled with, former World Series MVP and bloody socked turned crazy conservative.
Oh, Kurt Schilling.
Troll.
Yeah. Getting under Kurt Schilling's skin was one of my all-time favorite moments in at the JC Money's Twitter history. But the straw that broke the Twitter camel's back. So there is a pro wrestler by the name of Mike Bennett. He goes by the ring name of Mike Kanellis. His real life wife, Maria Kanellis. They're signed to the WWE, and they're involved in kind of like a cuck storyline where, he's kind of the whipping boy husband or whatever, and she's the dominatrix kind of whatever, trying to push the envelope a little bit or whatever. Wrestling fans tend to forget that what they see on TV is a television show. It's not real life.
Yeah.
And so there was this one Twitter
fictional characters.
Person. Right. There was this one Twitter person that was really going hard after Mike Bennett. And he was, kind of, at Bennett's level, he probably should have just not paid attention to this guy. But this guy was like, at some point, when do you save your dignity and turn around and tell the company, no, I'm not going to do that storyline? And Bennett's like trying to, I don't want to say just trying to justify. He is justifying. He's saying it's a freaking TV show. It's, it's no different than, someone having a story on a soap opera or whatever that's, told to do this. It's not real life, dude. Chill out. Well, I would be telling Vince McMahon no, and no amount of money is worth my dignity or whatever. So I chime in there and I'm like, dude, relax. It's a TV show. And so this guy starts going after me and starts going, well, yeah, clearly you don't know what you're talking about and blah, 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 and this and this. And I'm pretty sure I've worked on shows with Mike Bennett before. He was Mike Bennett, a long time ago. So I know enough. I've been in enough locker rooms and know enough people in pro wrestling and whatever. But whatever, I'm bored and sitting on the shitter. And so I'm tweeting back at this guy, and this guy called me some stupid name or whatever. And I turned around and I called him the C word. And which, through the course of time on that Twitter has been an established word of mine that I use, that I've used on, people such as Donald Trump and Val Venus and former World Series MVP Curt Schilling. When they've said things, I've often replied with that to comical results. But apparently it burned that guy so bad that he reported me to Twitter, and Twitter suspended my account indefinitely because of that tweet where I called him the C word. So that's why I am now at I am JC Money. And I have to essentially start over with the rebuild. So go ahead and give me follows on there and get me back up to my follower count that I had on the other one that took me 10 years to get. So, that was my Twitter story.
You dumbass.
It is what it is.
You had one job,
and I did it.
No,
I had one job and I did it. I just didn't get. It just came at the expense of some low-life wrestling fan instead of real Donald Trump. But with that being said, we are going to go ahead and put or as we say in wrestling, take it home. We are going to put the bow on the podcast here and time it. And I thank you all for tuning in and listening into us ramble about football and my Twitter and Brandon's concert. So again, GearNetwork.com, brand new. It's going to be launched very, very soon. You can listen to the podcasts directly from the site, download the podcast, or get to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play through there. I'm officially done. My allergies are killing me. So Brandon, let's do this again next. I could feel it starting to really get me in. I feel like
post nasal drip,
something like that. Yes, but Brandon, let's do this again next week, shall we?
We shall.
All right. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well.
So long, everybody. Good night now. Flava Flav. See my sick ass out.
Yeah, boy.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.